recording as always, right, for
Yeah.
our everyone's benefit. So Kushbu, how was that video? I hope you were looking at it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. So go through that and let me know. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Actually, in that video, you have, you have just described the website, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I have gone through it. And how is the things at your place? All of you are safe, and
Yeah, it's kind
and
of
your family is also. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of comparatively better compared to Chennai.
Uh-huh. Raghavan, you are not in Chennai now?
No, I'm at my native place for past 2 months. I keep shuttling.
Okay.
Kushbu. My location keeps varying. Right, once
Okay, okay.
like Chand ke tarah, right? Like a moon and sun. Every 15 days, 1 hour. I still remember earlier my friends used to ask me which city or which state or which country you are in. I think Janani also used to ask me, right? I was in Mumbai, Bangalore, Saudi,
Yeah, I
Canada.
think last time when I spoke, you were in Chennai.
Right. I was in Bangalore, I was in Chennai, I was in my native, again in
Yeah.
Chennai. Yeah, so I keep shuttling for the past
Okay.
10, 12 years. So, in fact, Amazon also, if you look at it, my address is pretty lengthy. Around 13, 15 addresses are there. Okay, I think
Okay.
let's get started. Kumar is not gonna, looks like he doesn't turn out. Let's get started. Yeah. Okay, thanks everyone for joining. As we all have been looking at it, right? This is again a reunion for our own SHaDE team, where we have been trying to make certain changes for our application. Maybe just I'll tell you. Earlier we used to call this as NextGen, but that now we have recently renamed it. So instead of calling this as NextGen, we call it as SHaDE BAU Improve, SBI, right? Because we want to reserve the name NextGen for the actual NextGen, where we will be really transforming the application into technical landscape, right? Technically, we are transforming to the newer set of technologies on Angular, single page applications and all that. So it's a different ecosystem, different landscape altogether. So this is the same application which I wrote 6 years ago, which I have already shared you as well in terms of our feedback session where we have, right? So 2015, I started this version. Myself and Janani were the only people who were actively testing, and I was developing. So till this 2015, it was very active. And then again, it took a break. So I thought I'll finish this. There were obviously so many things pending. Here as well, we had things to do. Quite a few things we had it, right? So those days, there was no Jira and those stuff. I just marked it here itself. Probably, somewhere in Excel, somewhere in email. As I told you, I had my own to-do application, which also I have linked it here, but not everything has been ported here, right? So we tried porting a few things here. So there are definitely scattered places, I must admit. It is not one single place. Of course, few things we're doing in OneNote as well, where the earlier meeting last year when I started catching up with Kumar, I have been maintaining it here. So SHaDE meetings, where is it? These meetings. So and then Kushbu, when we were talking also, we have been working on this, right? This is the first meeting I had with Kumar. So eventually we have been managing here as well in OneNotes. Still, definitely, there are things scattered, but I wanted to make it all in a centric place so as to avoid the gaps of wandering here and there, right? So that said, this application I just wanted to complete. That's what I'm doing it now. You must have observed. I'm in a spree now, right, to complete whatever the functionalities are required so that this will be a picture perfect, rather a full-blown complete application. Of course, yes, this URL is not really, we have not exposed to public, meaning we have not really shared it with others, right? Nobody could guess that there is a portal, sub-portal, we have it in this is a production portal. We do have something called SBI. Since those days, we have been only maintaining it. But now I kind of mentally shifted myself where I'm primarily actively working only on this. Only when there is a need that I need to share it with others, because we don't know whether it is completely in good standing. Still, there are some security breaches, especially like this login screen and all, right? This is our own thing. I don't want this to be exposed to public until we complete this. That's the reason I just manipulate. I'm requesting only we play around in this, not the rest of the public. Once we are comfortable and confident, maybe we'll give it a dry run. Like a selective users, we can ask them. We can ask certain selective users to execute this, right? Probably we get some feedback and then we can give it to the complete public, right? The general public. So that said, this appeal only on demand, like say, for example, this one, right? 156. Only when I'm sharing it to the email, whenever we are broadcasting it, this is what the URL is still known to the rest of the world. So only those occasions I'm mentioning it and referring it, where this appeal details page, and also we know that appeal transaction info page. These two are the typical URLs that we have. Obviously, appeal details. These two are there are other URLs, but then, like view transaction.php and that as well. I mentioned it here. I need to update it. This bit right here, because I don't know whether you have been following me or not. We created a short URL in a portal called shorturl.at. As I told in the WhatsApp as well, there are quite a few informations, but I requested you to just digest it, not to quickly skim through, right? Saying that no, it is too overwhelming. At times I agree, wherein we do have quite a few interactive discussions going on, but trust me, all of them are vital. As an admin team, we should be digesting whatever has been spoken. Individually, I have requested. I told Kumar, I told Sabrish, I told Kushi as well on our individual chat, right? The reason being, we should not skim through, because whatever we are speaking, right, there are so many different contexts we speak about, hosting, anything with respect to SHaDE, the administrative task that we are dealing, we all should be on the same page. Agreed, the level of involvement could vary. As I said, for the DB task, right, I said maybe Kumar may not be really getting involved. Rather, Sabarish and Kushbu can be the right person for it, right? That said, the level of participation or involvement might vary, but the level of awareness should be common, right? All of us should be at the same page, right? What is happening on the ground, what each one of us, what is actually running around in our system, right? What is the current state of the system? We should be aware. So that said, I would definitely request and recommend in this WhatsApp group, right? SHaDE admin WhatsApp group, whatever the discussion is being posted, I would once again genuinely, sincerely request, recommend, and advise. Please go through at leisure. It may not be immediately. Maybe you can quickly. You will be tempted to. We all used to that, right? Press the right arrow button, bottom arrow, which will take you to the latest message, so that we get a peace of mind. There is no round. I also have it. Quickly I click on, so that we don't really feel good or comfortable when we see the round indicating the unread messages. I personally feel that as well. But what I do, if anything important, right, I would definitely go back, scroll through, and then start reading it in the order. So that is, I would again request, let's not miss that. So this bit.ly, coming back to the topic where we're talking about, this is the management, the URL, short URL.at we are talking about. Yeah. So these URLs also public, you know that, because we are using this for our normal transaction reminder emails also, right? So here we are using this. In fact, this as well I have modified it, bit.ly. How many of you have noticed that this has been updated here? You would have given an intimation. I have updated here in the group description also. Earlier, this is still prevalent. I don't know why. Only this URL is not modified. It is not tampered. Whereas the rest of the URLs for a transaction reminder, but with a short URL is modified. I don't know. Whenever I give it, it keeps saying that it asks me to just shorten it again, as if the URL is expired. The short code of URL is expired. But this is alone. This is a good candidate. I don't know why, but I don't want to take a risk. I have modified this as well. How many of you have got a chance to look at this? One of the messages you would have got it. I have updated this. Anybody notice this or no?
I read your message now.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the reason being, again, we try to make it all consistent. Others, I would say, please watch out. That's what I'm saying. Now we can even remove this going forward. The short URL is not required. Rather, we can use this itself. If you click on this, automatically it gets redirected to the same appeal info form where we can make use of the same, right? So this bit.ly is what I have it. This is our dashboard. I created everything on SHaDE.team account now, not with any of our individual accounts, right? And the username password, everybody is aware. So these are the three URLs here. So talking about the old portal, what I refer is only on these two URLs, right? Transaction appeal ID and transactions, because this is required still for us to mention it in the transaction reminder emails, right? That is why I still refer it. I take a look because it is still a publicly available URL, not just for members. We have still not migrated this to the SBI improved version of this BA. So that said, it's a hybrid combination. Most part we are trying to migrate whichever has not been much exposed, because those are admin, appeal creation and beneficiary. It's all we have been doing it on our own. So they are migrated comfortably now. So this one will come to the last probably, right? That's the current state of the application, right? So having said that, this my present agenda or interest is to complete this application. I think most part I have done it. Let me take a look here. So member home, we are adding it. Task is not required. And obviously I've requested you all to log in and check in once. Not sure how many did I get a chance. Of course, you had your own situations, but please do log in. I'm not gonna take time in walking you through now because we agreed to discuss on the fund transfer. So just wanted to skim through. I think appeal all I have completed. I think most part it is all done now. For us, still there are, I'm actively using this beneficiary as well. I've added it. Add view, only delete beneficiary is not there. We don't really need it now. So view all beneficiaries also have added it. Meeting, of course, this is still a pending thing. We don't really, need it because we are capturing it through Confluence and Jira. So earlier I thought we would manage it in our own portal, because back in those days in 2015, we were not really familiar or aware of this Jira and all. That's why I thought we could directly have it with our own meeting, whatever meeting we are discussing. So I thought we can directly refer it here, verify it here. Okay. I'm not sure whether it is okay. It's a case sensitive DB error, right? Search feedback. Most likely, I think 80%, 85% it is all good. So primarily, what do we need to use this, right? I think Kumar is joining. Where is his chat? No.
Hello.
Hey, Kushbu. Yes. We
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Actually, yeah. Actually, I have a question. So now you're saying that beneficiary list is there. So and I can add the beneficiary and appeal. So now no need of Google Form.
In a way, yes, but I would want you to test it properly. We need to test it once.
Okay.
Most likely, yes. That's what I told you, Kushbu. This will be a very valid benefit for you, right? Because as of now, you take up that role, right? So having said that, beneficiaries here, we have view beneficiaries. I've added here which beneficiary, what appeal it's mapped with. Add beneficiary also, I've tested it here. This is my local, right? I've tested it here.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example,
this is the name.
Yeah, our own meaningful name. Here it is created successfully. There is no appeal, right? This is created date and time, audit details. Let's go to view all beneficiaries. Because there is no appeal matching, right? I should have given a left join. There is a bug.
Yeah.
Got it. There is a bug. Okay. I already noticed one more bug as well here. I see here. I'll walk you through here. Appeal creation should have a list of beneficiaries to choose, right? Similar to what we have in the earlier one. I did not have it here. So the beneficiary is created now, right? I know I can tell you what is that latest 130. So let's look at 140 or 141. I think 140 is already something else. Here it is 141. One we created it, right? No? Right? Right? So why? Because we don't have a capacity to edit it. This is logged in with Meera. She is a non-admin user, right? If I log in with you, these all of us are admin users, right? If you log in here, these are all highlighted just to visually indicate that, you know, this is of admin, right? Let's look at it here. View PHP 141. You see edit and delete, right? So even if somebody invariably logs in and catches hold of this URL, looks like you don't have sufficient privileges to edit the beneficiary details. That is a security check, right? If at all, nobody will do it as usual. You know, we do it in the IT, we are all working in IT industry, right? Just as extra security measure, right? So let's log in now and go to this as always, edit. So you could definitely do that, right? So instead of education, this is okay. So everything now audit detail will be captured, updated. 530 we created, 530 last details. This is also being brought in here. Generally, long back when you look at it, member home, this is what you would have seen, right? Like profile, admin info, company info, all you would have seen, right?
Yeah.
Transaction details, this you remember, right? This is the Kushbu.
Yes.
Okay. So this audit details I've added it in now, just for us to understand.
Okay.
Anybody for that matter, when is created, when that particular profile was created, when certain profile was modified, right?
Okay.
So yeah, here it is. Now you see, modified data also would come in picture. And this is something I've added in my local host for login history. When did you log in? Just to get to see. You don't really need it for the application of our nature. Just I've added it, right? So the only other thing is appeal creation. While adding an appeal, instead of beneficiary ID, we want to have a drop down, similar to what we have in our existing portal, right?
Yeah.
Should
Here.
it be beneficiary ID or beneficiary name?
Beneficiary
Now?
name we choose,
Name.
but ultimately what is getting mapped in the backend is ID. We choose a name, but ultimately what gets mapped is this. Now, right? Ultimately, what gets mapped is this.
But ID should not be required.
Sorry?
For this. No, for beneficiary ID is not required here, right?
No, we
For
need to map
users.
it, right, Sabrish? For an appeal, for whom, which beneficiary this appeal is getting created, correct? Look at this. That's why I designed this newly. We get list of all beneficiaries, only the top 5 I made it now. Obviously, we could have it in different cases. Like for appeals, we have, right? View all appeals. We first show the appeal category status. This level of detailing, I'm yet to do it for beneficiaries. Just it will map, it will show the last 5 beneficiaries, what is there in the portal now. Last top 5, where this is the beneficiary ID, this is the ID for it, appeal ID. And beneficiary name. For this beneficiary, we have this appeal. We can directly go to this appeal, see, and this is the beneficiary ID. Beneficiary and appeal should be one-to-one mapping, correct? Can be one-to-many. For the same beneficiary, we can create multiple appeals. Time and again, maybe, you know, for the beneficiary is same, we know him, but over a period of time, appeal is a time-bounded entity, right? We must have opened an appeal for one, say call it phase 1. And then we do the fundraising, we finish it off. Then again, we create one more appeal. Probably something like for the same student, you create one more appeal for fundraising for each semester, right? So appeal is time bounded, that gets mapped to the beneficiary. So the cardinality ratio between an appeal and beneficiary is n is to 1. Our beneficiary to appeal is 1:n, right? So that said, it is very imperative that beneficiary and appeal should be mapped, right? I found it here.
No, my quick,
Yes, Janani.
okay, sorry. My quick suggestion or quick thought was, while we add the appeal, currently the page has beneficiary ID, right? Since it is a number, we might have to switch to pages and find what is the current ID and pick up. Rather,
No, that's what I'm
can
saying.
we use a beneficiary name there?
Exactly, sir. Janani, that's what I'm saying. There is a feature I've added here. If you look at it, Appeal creation should have a
Okay,
list of
fine,
beneficiaries to
okay.
choose. So that's a feature I've added because I
I'm
missed
sorry.
it.
Okay.
No problem, no problem. So we are on the same page.
Okay.
You are right. Numbers are, we are not good at
Okay.
remembering numbers. We should be in a position to choose the beneficiary, right? Similar to what we have in existing production.
Yeah.
We would have done it generally many
Yes,
times,
yes.
right? The same
Yes.
feature, I want to have it here. Yes, Kumar, Sabarish.
No, no. I would suggest, this is my suggestion. We can concatenate name and ID
We
because
can
we
do that
have
as well.
beneficiary ID appeal.
We can do
Yeah.
that as well.
So we have
You know,
multiple
Sabarish,
IDs. So
where it would help, you know, I'll tell you. That's also a good suggestion. Where it would help. See, the reason why I'm saying is, Sabarish, you should look at the target audience, right? Once this is, everything is complete, we are all comfortable to get it rolled out to general public. This URL will be replaced. We would no longer give this URL to the public. Of course, even today we don't capture, we don't have a facility to get the documents, attachments through the form, right? Whatever we are capturing it here, what do? Cause of the appeal and all that, right? Beneficiary name. This can be what we will do. We need to create a workflow. First, we'll give the beneficiary. We'll ask them to create it as a workflow. We need to make it. Still something I need to work on, so that it is a workflow. Assume there is a general public who comes. They want to let us know of an appeal. What we will do in this form, we capture both details of the appeal as well as the details of the beneficiary. Both of them are clubbed together in this Excel sheet, right? What does the beneficiary details, name, contact details, email address, physical address, etc., right? Plus the nature of the appeal, cause of the appeal, medical education, and the hospital treatment expenses, how much the funds they have in hand, mode of transfer, and all that. Those go into the appeal entity. So we get both of them into one single form now, right? So that said, maybe I think better I'll close it. Okay. So that's it, Sabarish. Now we would be giving this URL, but we wouldn't be giving this beneficiary ad. We wouldn't give this. I want to make it in a different workflow where step by step they will do. We need to think from a general public, Sabarish. They need not log in, first of all. Those pages should not be secured. Assume, say, some XYZ friend, somebody who is in need of, they are not a member of SHaDE, they don't know anything. So we should think from their perspective. They may even save it half the way they may go. If at all we can do something as well. Most likely we don't need to go that detailed. We don't need to go to that detailed technical solutioning, but a bit of it where user can be disconnected still. They can come back after a while, right? We can give them an ability to save. We need to think a little, what do you call, outside the box. As of now, this application, the discussion that we have is all for the tech savvy people, right? For whether fortunately, unfortunately, all of us are in IT. We all know what is bug, what is SIT, UIT, prod, we speak about, what is the functionality, linking, UI, database. But those people will not have any idea. Think like Google Forms, right? Think like a Google form. This is how it should be. But instead of this Google form, the person should be in our portal, where we would collect all the information that will primarily avoid the efforts, manual efforts required to be put in by any of our admin team. Earlier, Janani used to do quite a lot of time. Long time she was doing this. Now Kushbu has been doing it for a couple of months, since last 6-7 months. I would say she has been doing it. In fact, it is her idea. We were doing it in this portal. Probably we used to get it in the Excel sheet. We were maintaining an Excel sheet where we collect all the details. She was the one who suggested it. It is her value add. Kushbu suggested, why don't we do it? I said, okay, go ahead. We never thought. So it is her child. She created this. That again, I told on that day itself, Kushbu, remember, this will be for a time being, but hang on, we are working on for a permanent solution. You remember?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is off the way we are now. A little more, if I complete it, we should be good to roll this out to the general.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I think the meeting will get closed in another 10 minutes. They are having a 40-minute time. All right. So that answers your question, Kushbu. So we are able to create a beneficiary. As of now, you know what? For the time being, you could still use this internally for our own admin work. From our, you can still, as of now, what you do, you collect the information from this Google itself and use these URLs, right? Use these URLs.
Correct.
Beneficiary, existing one. I know it has got a lot of bugs. It is 2010 I created this. Very simple form. You still use this. It is 11 years old. It is like old gen, right? It has got very limited stuff. We know a lot of bugs already in it, right? This portion has been now replaced. You could, one arm we have cut. This existing URLs of this appeal, these two can be now, this is still prevalent. First, like the SHaDE Google Forms is still there, but the existing SHaDE.org.in/appeal and the SHaDE.org.in/beneficiary, these two can be done here. You first come here and add a beneficiary.
Yeah.
And you know very well what is the beneficiary created. I will actually create a bug here as of now. Definitely I can add a bug. Well, I'll tell you for the this thing as well. Let me add a bug. Backlog, I'll add a bug right away. Okay, this is the sprint. I can add it here itself. What is that? Beneficiary without an appeal. Okay. So generally coming to your question now, right? What you asked. So Khushbu, I hope you are clear, right? I'll get this bug as well. So that eventually when beneficiary we have it, you should still be able to pick it up here. Got it? You should still be able to pick it up.
What should I do whenever now new appeal will come? I will try to do via this new thing only.
Yes.
And if it is
go to beneficiaries, create a beneficiary, come to view beneficiary, you get the ID. That ID you take it, go to appeals, add an appeal.
Yeah.
There, obviously, you know, you could add other information, whatever you have it. And the only thing is this alone you do it here. All right. But I would request, probably I'll do something. I'm working on it as such via SSH. Sabarish, I told you, right? This is where I created our SSH here, right?
Yeah.
I created our SSH, so we do have it here. I'm trying to do one thing, even for I'm trying to make a test database. I already created a test SHaDE. Okay. So what I will do, Khushbu, generally all of us, right? Any feature you want to test, not directly wanting to impact it, I would create it here instead of SHaDE.org.in/SBI. I would make it as test SHaDE or something like that. A cloning of the portal where you can play around with it and then come back here just in case, because this is my local host. I can play around quickly here and there, but you wouldn't have that setup. So I will create an environment where you could try this to get your hands dirty first, especially like appeal, because the number will be jumbled sequence. We don't want that to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I would create that. This will be like this. Same or SBI test, something like that, right? Make sense? I will rename this as SBI test. This will point to the test database, right?
But then the entries will go to that database, not
Yes.
in our production.
But if you want to get your hands dirty, right? I agree. But what if you want to get your hands dirty? You want to explore the functionalities. How does it work?
Yeah, sure.
Practice.
For that,
more like
this is very nice. Yeah.
More like a practice environment, right? That's what I'm saying. All right. So that answers. So generally, coming back to your question, as of now, what do we talk about? We have two tools. I told you, right? Jira and Confluence. So Jira is, both of them are actually a product of Atlassian, right? These two are from the company called Atlassian.net. That's the company who made these two products. Typically, what happens is they are agile friendly tools. Okay. Jira is a issue tracking tool. It was actually started as a issue tracking or a defect tracking tool, right? Dhanani, you are there?
Yes.
Right. So using which what you can do, I'm just giving you a quick overview. Basically, we can do a deep dive little later. Maybe I can take a separate session. If required, we can have it as well.
Yeah, we can take it offline.
This is certainly a tracking tool. As of now, you have seen, right? I created a bug. I created an issue, right? Here it is. So with that issue, I can manipulate the attributes of it, right? The issue can have a description, and you can assign a owner, like who is assignee, reporter, labels, right? All this you can do that. You can assign an so, and then you can start tracking. Basically, this backlog is an entry. If you look at it, that will have more like backlog is like a diary. You get to see a full list of items, what is packed. Sprint is a different terminology. Sprint, we say backlog is a whole list of items that we plan to work on. Sprint is an agreed upon item, preferred set of items that we want to work in the current iteration. Typically, we work in iteration module, feature, we say, right? Iteration is a period of time, current running period. Typically, we say 2 weeks is a general period for a sprint. What is a currently running feature? Iteration. In this time period, current time frame, how many items are being handled, being picked up for execution? That's what it's going to give. So we manipulate everything in the web-based, GUI-based environment. That is what Jira is all about. You could have a users, roles, everything you can assign it, right? Testers, there is quite a good amount of rich tool. It has got a lot of different functionalities embedded in it, right? You can have a dashboard. You have the people here. It lists all the peoples here, right? People, whoever is there in our team, and you could have an integration also, wherein integration like GitHub, Bitbucket. This is an issue tracking tool, but we can link it to the source code management tool. And there is a Slack already. I think we had it. Not sure we are not using it now. In Emerald Butterfly, we have been actively using that. Slack is a what do you call real-time interaction tool, like Discord, etc. Real-time communication tool, more like a chatting tool where you have a chat rooms, etc. So these are all the certain famous tools, but there are umpteen number of tools which you can integrate it within your Jira, so that everything you can integrate it. So let me look at the dashboards, right? View all dashboards. Default dashboard. Let's tell you, if you log in, it's going to tell you what are all the projects currently running, right? SHaDE BAU and SHaDE BAU improved. This is the current prod. If at all we want to do something only on the current prod, but currently we are working on SHaDE BAU improved, SBI. That's what we are working on now. And this is SHaDE next gen, active next gen. And these are all the issues assigned to me. Most likely, I think it is only I am the one who is working everything. So you don't see a big difference here. So all the top list of issues which are assigned to me as an assignee column where my name is filled. And this is the activity stream, what and all the comments that I'm making, everything. This is one such, we can create a customized dashboard as well. We can customize the dashboard also. So quite a few things we could do. This is Jira. Confluence, on the other hand, if you look at it, this is our spaces. They say spaces, but it is actually a Confluence tool. See, Confluence is more like a replacement of your, if at all a simple word I can say, Jira is a replacement of Excel, but not really, just an analogy. This is a replacement of MS Word, just for a tool sake of analogy, right? Where you could have the documentation. Here you can link it to the Jira. If let's say if at all, I want to create, what is the tool? 76, right? I can actually do that here. This one, right? Did I link this? It should have been linked. If you link it, automatically it will come. These two are integrated actually. I don't know why it doesn't come now. I've done it, but it something like that. It automatically should get resolved. So this is something like a notes taking, meeting minutes, or manual documentation, anything that you would like to have an elaborated text, you can have it. So that's the Confluence. This is again by Atlassian.